All right, today I have a very special guest, Chris Franklin. He's an Eagles insider. Um, I really appreciate all of his work. Um, if you guys want to know where to find him, the Twitter is Chris Franklin, right?
Yeah, C. Franklin News. Yep, C. Franklin
Yeah.
News.
All right. Cool. And man, just give him a brief introduction about yourself, and then we can get right into the show.
Sure. Yeah, I've been covering the Eagles now for my fourth season now with NJ.com. Got to see the beginning of the that weird COVID year all the way through now that Super Bowl run, and yeah, I've been covering the news side. I was started on the news side, and also before that, I was covering Temple football for Coach and Player magazine, and yeah, it's been a heck of a ride now. It's my tenth season. Just can't believe it's already been there. 10 seasons already covering media. It's like either news or sports. I can't believe I'm already here. Fucking hold it already. I'm like, wait a minute. I used to be the young guy. All of a sudden, turn around like, what the heck just happened? But yeah, it's been fun covering this team for the past 3 years through the highs and the lows.
Hey man, you have the best job in the world. It has to be fun and just cover the Philadelphia Eagles, right? So, I mean, it's a double edged sword, especially with times like this when everybody's going crazy trying to figure out what's going on with the team,
It's
right?
very it's never a dull moment around this team. It's really fun. I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, it's funny. I used to be
Yeah,
sell cars and everything, and now all of a sudden now I find myself covering a defending NFC champion and team that's consistently in the playoffs or consistently in the news for whatever. So yeah, it's a
yeah,
lot of work, but hey, it's fun.
yeah, man. I have a Nick Sirianni theory. Okay, I was under the impression that he's lost the locker room, and this was dating back last month. I want to say the after the Dallas Cowboys game. That's when I really started to look into our head coach as far as what's going on, right? Because to start off at with 10-1 and to just begin to go on the crazy losing streak, there has to be it had to it had to have been something else that meets the eye, and I took a deeper dive into Nick Sirianni, and I was totally done with him. When I began to look at his just his prior history, he never called plays. Okay, he's never called plays. He didn't play the game. So I'm thinking there's a respect level when you're dealing with alpha males. I don't think Nick Sirianni. I don't think he ever. I think he lost the respect of the team. I don't if he ever had it, right? But as you look at you know his time in the NFL, what has he really done? Um, he was under Todd Haley, and with the Chiefs, he wouldn't. He was a quarterbacks coach with the Chiefs. He goes to the Chiefs, and 1 year he's gone. Todd Haley maybe won about 19 games, lost about 20 or something like that. So it wasn't a successful tenure. Then he goes to the Colts as an offensive coordinator, and he's not calling the plays. Frank Reich is calling the plays. So as I'm beginning to look, I'm just like, man, I'm trying to see what would stick out, for a candidate, for him to be a top, for him to even be hired. Honestly, it's good. It was a little bizarre. And when he gets here, you see all of the stuff off of on the field with the fans, and with even with how he interacts with other teams' fans. That's my biggest thing. It's like this is not how your average head coach behaves, and his behavior is just kind of I think that played I think his behavior as well played a role in him losing the locker room, because now you kind of look like you look pretty silly, Nick Sirianni, to be honest, with your interactions with the fans. And I think it gets old. I think it got old. I think the locker room, they were fed up. Um, that's kind of my theory with Nick Sirianni. Even if you look at the Super Bowl, you see Nick Sirianni and Jalen. You see Nick Sirianni making a gesture to the other sideline, and Jalen Hurts have to like stop him from, this stuff start, it just begins to add up. It's not just one, instance to where, this kind of behavior shows with our head coach. So I think the players are just done with it. The fans, it all seemed like we all want them gone. Okay. And this is something I've been talking about for probably the past month. So, Chris, how do you feel about Nick Sirianni?
Yeah. I think there's two keys when you look at it when a team loses its coach. I think the two things you look at is A, is he still getting his message across? And if I don't want to say lack of better words, if the players are parroting them, but just basically if he's still getting his beliefs and messages around. So when I look at that, I don't think he's done that because when we talk to a lot of these guys, and not just rookies, rookies don't want to be, they don't want to cause waves, especially they're new in there as well too. Because but when you get the veterans are still reciting and saying stuff that's part of the that team's culture or the coach's sayings or stuff like that, then they're still there. So I think he still has attention. The other one is I haven't seen him quit yet. I think that's the biggest telltale sign. That's the quickest way to see a coach is fired is when the
Yeah,
team just completely quits. So I think the
yeah,
team is still doing it. Now, have I liked some of the decisions that have been made? I disagree with some of them. I think that when you look at the defense, maybe sometimes some type of the style, if you get the style of defense, maybe have somebody else running it. I still think there's issues when it comes to that. I look at some of the conservative play calling at times. I get, especially when we're talking today when we were at the press conference for Brian Johnson and everything. And Brian was saying like sometimes some things like down and distance and the situation, the game time, and everything else plays a role in it. And when I look at that, it's that's why you get the second and 20, third and 20 calls there. And I look at some of the conservative things. So sometimes you just gotta, yeah, you just gotta come out with different play calls on that. Wide receiver screen draws, maybe something different. If you still want to move the ball down the field, there's other things that are available to them. I think defenses have got caught on to that as well too. So I don't think the team has lost them. I don't think they lost them at all. Do they need something to get them back? Because I think this is one of those things. I don't know whether this. I wouldn't use it against the Giants, but let's say for the playoffs right before it, he's come up. The one thing that I've heard across from everybody is that he's a good communicator in terms, especially those the night before game meetings where he's the fire up meetings per se. And
yeah,
I think he's going to need to solve. He's going to find something, whether they have to go to Tampa or their home, what have you. He's going to need to come up with his best speech because if this team underachieves, say it gets bounced in the first round, then I think you'll start to see some next year. He's going to be back next year. He's not getting fired. He's not anything unless something
yeah,
drastically happens where he
yeah,
curses out Lurie, which never happened. But it's
yeah.
still something that happens. Yeah, he's back.
He has some leeway. I think he has he has some leeway. I'll say that because he came out and he said that he felt secure with his job. So I mean, that lets me know he has a bit of a leeway with the owner and the GM and with a lot of fans and everybody. There's a lot of people who feel as though he shouldn't be fired, but man, it's really heating up for him. I honestly, let's say, like you said, if we lose a playoff, if we lose in the wild card round, uh, yeah, I don't know how you keep the hounds off of him. Honestly, it's I mean, even if you look at right, you look at the Dallas game. This was extremely alarming for me. Well, not this Dallas. Which Dallas game was it? Yeah, the 13-33. We didn't score a touchdown after being embarrassed by the 49ers. So it's two consecutive weeks where you guys look really bad. I mean, and a lot of it is a lack of effort. I don't see these guys willing to tackle. You look at our last game against the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals had 200 plus rushing yards. So a lot of this is the players. A lot of this really boils down to the players and lack of effort. When you see a lack of effort, for me, I feel like that's a telltale sign of the locker room being there's something with the locker room because if there's a coach that I respect. I'm going to run through a wall for him, and I'm gonna run through a wall for my teammates. But especially if I have a head coach like a Nick Sirianni, who's supposed to be like the energy guy. There's no energy here with Nick Sirianni. So I look at him and I wonder what is his value to the team. Like, what does he do, Chris? I don't even see where he. I mean, he doesn't call plays. Yeah, I don't know. What's his value here?
See, I won't say it's like Africa. I think it's when you look at the coaching aspects, especially defensively. When you look at the tackling, I think they got guys who don't take the right position, right angles for balls. You got guys that have a wrong form, and you
Yeah, yeah,
guys
yeah,
that look confused. So I think that's more on the teaching and the coaching of that side of the ball, which goes back to if you want to go back to going back to Nick, then your decision of going to Sean Desai or or and then doing a switch to Matt Patricia. Yeah, I think that you can go back to Nick on that aspect. When you look at the value of the team, it's the CEO. Like you can see the CEO version of that. It
yeah,
works when you have the good coaches. One thing I would love to see him do, if you talk about value, I have no problem with him in terms of, hey, you know what, this is what your vision. If you want to run the Fangio scheme, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if you do it, make sure you have the right guy that knows how to do it. They did have it, and I think Jonathan Gannon may have slowed things up a little bit because I think when they wanted really, personally, I think they really want Fangio. I really think they want Fangio. I would have been
yeah,
had a problem with that at all. They just need a defensive coordinator who is very skilled. Almost like so many years we've seen, like they what they did with Jim Schwartz. Say, hey, you know what? You run the defense. You're like the head coach on that in that aspect. You run this. Nick can overlook the offense, but he still oversees the defense just to see what they're doing. That's what
yeah,
they really. That's the one thing I think they really need, and they just
yeah,
need a veteran mind on that aspect. But when it comes to Nick as being a CEO thing, it works as long as you have the two guys that are being the
yeah.
coordinators doing it
Yep.
at a right rate. So I have no problem with this. It's just his coordinator, and you just don't want to see Nick take the same path that Doug did when you started with Carson Walsh and Mike Groh, and it just
Yeah.
really down to finally you saw he's like, oh yeah, I got Press Taylor here. Mm,
So
yeah, and Lord never changed.
why not hire a guy who you can, because he clearly relies on his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Why not hire a guy who he would essentially hire to be his head coach? I mean, to be his why not hire the offensive coordinator? Like, let's say, all right, let me back here. Let's say Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon, they were exceptional coordinators. And when he doesn't have those two guys, like, what does he bring to the team now? As a maybe a CEO, kind of or I wouldn't say a CEO, but maybe he had it frees him up to um, plug in other holes or deficiencies he see with the team, right? So there's benefit in that. But I would personally like a head coach that is an offensive coordinator that calls the plays. Nick Sirianni doesn't call plays, so it's like, man, I would love to know. I still don't. I think he's just I think he's just along for the ride. Honestly, man, I'm totally out on Nick Sirianni.
I
I'm
can hear it.
totally out on him,
I
and
can
I
hear
think the
you
I
crap
think
on
the
that.
players are too. And now, man, and I don't see him like I really. If we do not win a playoff game, because I mean, Chris, look, this has been the worst. I've never seen anything like this. The team started off 10-1 and went 1-4. The whole month of December was a L. The entire month. Like this is wild. And we were 10-1. Now we're 11-5. This is a epic collapse. And I seen a stat that said a team that started 10-1 and going and ended up 11-5. The last time that happened was like 30 something years ago. So this this is like this is it's a horrible place to be in, man. Seriously, it's a horrible place to be in, especially when you talk so much trash, right? But man, this is an epic collapse. I feel like something has to be done. We lose a playoff game. He still has that. He still have some leverage with the team, though, Chris. Right? They're not gonna fire him. But
No, it's not.
golly, what do so he get does do he draft does do okay? Does Nick Sirianni hire better offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators? That's how he saves his job, right?
Not necessarily. I think when you look at offensively, the main thing is that they have to mix it up. I mean, if they come in and say, you know what, tear down this, I think there's still a lot of things where they still have a lot of Steichen stuff. They still have a lot because this offense is not like a regular. Okay, you can tell this is West Coast. Okay, you can tell this is East Coast. You can tell this is this, what have you. They've got so
Yeah,
many elements from so many different things that's become. I think a lot of stuff we saw it happen in Alabama and the Michigan game, where you start to see a lot of stuff is that RPRs and everything else. You can't rely solely on the
yeah, yeah,
RPRs and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not so much of that. And when I look at the thing with how the like when you look at this overall system, I think you can have some. If you just have another guy like I know Marcus Brady had some saying that in what happened last year, and you hear Kevin Patullo help out, who's been with Nick for a while, even go back to the Colts. You look at, I think you just need another voice in there. You don't necessarily need him to be the offensive coordinator. Just go like, hey, somebody in the booth, similar, what you hope to do better than Sean Desai right now, but somebody in the booth where you just go, hey, you know what, you're calling this one here. I see maybe go a flood here against this cover four on the top right side. Maybe you got AJ Brown starting to float around the right side. Start
yeah,
building up that start building instead of things. That's the one thing I think. The only thing I think Brian Johnson, if he's allowed the freedom to do a little bit more to do, is like build up your plays, set up your show one play to set up another one too, because we're starting to see the screens, the wide receiver screens are starting to get to the point where the secondary doesn't even respect the fact that there could be a fake off of that where you have somebody going off the side of the field. It's been they're just defensive backs are just flying off of there. So I think you just
yeah,
need one voice in there to change to go like, you know what, in his ear, just go that one. Maybe it's Frank Wright. I mean, I don't see him being the offensive coordinator, but maybe he's a senior offensive assistant next year to get on the staff. It could it's going past the point. And a lot of things, and I think another reason why they're not doing it as well too, because if you do that, and they this because I think this team really wants Brian Johnson to get a head coaching job for a couple of reasons. Not only to see him get that on Nick, and we know how loyal Nick is to assistants. Not only to get a
yeah,
job somewhere else, but they can get a third round pick out of that too. So once you move there for it, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Haney moves up too, but that's a whole other story on that one. But when you
yeah,
look at everything else, we're talking in that terms. I don't think Reich would come back as the OC. I think it's more of a senior season. Maybe for all I know, Nick could be that. And I'm trying to find out. I even tried emailing a variation of Frank Wright's email address would be at F Reich at Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, bounced back. So I know he's not. He's at least officially with the team in that one. But yeah,
uh-huh,
it's one. I think it's that. And even get back to the point about having head coach being your play caller doesn't always work. Look at Josh McDaniel. Look at Ben McAdoo at times. Look at
yeah,
Dable, even though I think that's more personnel. And there's so many coaches where I'd rather a head coach that knows his limitations, knows that he's going to
yeah,
do it, but he knows somebody has somebody on the staff that can do it a good job to help that team win. I'd rather have that. And that's what I think you saw with Shane Steichen. So Shane was originally almost doing like that Frank Wright job of just like, hey, setting up the offense and then giving Nick the chart, basically the menu to call things. Eventually gave it to that. I think that's more of a I'd rather see that than somebody say, "Oh, I can hold this," because then you start to see even Shanahan makes mistakes when he's both the play caller and the head coach. Where I look
yeah,
at him as more talent because sometimes like, why don't you call time out there? He makes boneheaded decisions. He will make a now I'll tell you this: he will make a boneheaded play. We'll start to question him in somewhere in the playoffs, not against the Eagles, but somewhere against somewhere else. I think you'll see it where he goes like, "What the heck is Shanahan doing?" Because there's a lot going on, but it's so much thing going on for that. But I look at that and I'm like. It's tough. There will be tweaks. I would say there'll be tweaks in that when it comes to personnel, coaching staff, stuff like that. But it's not going to be major. Like, okay, fire Brian Johnson. I would say
yeah.
defensively, I think there might be a new voice in there, but I think they're keeping Brian Johnson for a few reasons.
I mean, he can mess around and get a head coaching job, huh?
There might be there might be eight openings, and when you look at the way he's done with Jalen, the way and the thing gets a lot of credit, but also Brian Johnson did a lot with Jalen helping him develop. First, it was Marty Morningwig that rookie year, which because when you look at Jalen when he first got on the field, I first got there was like off his back foot so much. What's doing this too? And you find him that way. But Brian Johnson had a big role in helping him last year, especially. And then you talk of this year. There's gonna be a lot of
Yeah,
quarterbacks that be taken early on. You want a former quarterback to do that, and maybe Brian Johnson has his own system to that because this is a lot of this is Nick's system. So maybe Brian Johnson's own system, but there's gonna be like eight openings, I probably guess, and not everybody's
yeah,
going to be not everybody's going to be coming from college or ranks or that. So I think Brian Johnson's going to be requesting a couple of free league. And look at the just stat wise, you look at the Eagles statistics offensively. It may not be
Yeah.
working that way, but at least that wise it's going up. So someone is going to go, I want this, I want this.
Yeah.
And I think
And I
he's going
mean,
to get a few interviews.
Jalen Jalen Hurts has I mean, he has 4,000 passing yards. I mean, 4,000 total yards. He's going to
Yep.
have 4,000 passing yards, hopefully, if he plays his New York Giants game. So, they've had an amazing year. Two 1,000 yard receivers. DeAndre
1,000 yard
Swift with
rusher.
1,000 yards. The offense is really working. Like, I mean, when you go back and look at the full body of work, right? You just look at AJ Brown this year, what he done this year. You go look at Jalen Hurts, what he's done. It looks like, yeah, I mean, it looks good. I'll be honest. So I feel like it's being the magnitude, everything's being magnified for some reason. Partially because we won a Super Bowl, so that's going to the standard is higher. So there's that. But I mean, overall, the team offensively, in its totality, they look good. But as of late, this past month, they look horrible. Um,
Yeah. And
yeah. So
also,
I mean, what are your expectations? Do you feel like do you think the Philadelphia Eagles can somehow win a playoff game? I mean, just what are your just expectations moving forward?
I think when
Um,
you look at this,
yeah, do you think they'll win a playoff game?
I think it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter if it's Tampa Bay or New Orleans. I think they can win that game. I look at Tampa Bay. There's some holes and I think there's some holes in there that they can exploit, even in spite of the defense right now. It's almost got to the point where you go like, okay, who can you win in a shootout against? And I think they have and you got Mike Evans on the other side, and Chris Godwin as well. But I look at the rest of that offense and like, all right, cool. I think the Eagles can win a shootout against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then you look
We
at,
beat them.
hell,
We
still
beat them
up 20.
before this year, so
Yeah.
right.
So I look at that. And then you look at the
Yes.
Saints, and I look at them and I'm like, all right, which Derek Carr, Jekyll and Hyde, which Derek Carr you're going to get? And we all seen Derek Carr when it comes to, so the lights on. I'm like, he's like, wait, I forgot I'm a Carr. Oh, great. And the interception makes it go that way too. So I think you're out that. It's just a matter of, it's one of those things where it's not easy. Basically, it's a game of trying to avoid the 49ers at all costs. And
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
being the five, I mean, if you're the five, you're seeing them in the second round and you're going, oh, I'm sorry. There's no way you can go. You're traveling out. Not only you travel to Florida and you go back, and then now you got to travel out west to play. No,
Yeah.
they're just going. They're
So
best.
there's some benefits to playing on the road. You don't have to worry about the crowd chanting "run the ball" and booing the team. So right, that helps, doesn't it?
I wish they had a camera right near the press box. Not my camera, a microphone right near the press box window because there's like 3 or 4 people, especially
Yeah.
right near on our row right there where we're just hearing, "Are you hearing run the ball?" Right there?" And there's some stuff that have to be bleeped out during the broadcast because it's like, ooh,
I
okay,
gotta
that
ask.
was it.
I gotta ask you. I'm so happy I didn't forget. What was the atmosphere like? And with this last game against the Cardinals. What
It
was the
was
atmosphere as
weird.
far as the crowd? Were people actually leaving? And is it really that crazy right now in the link?
It was crazy because people started. I saw once they hit the field goal, people started leaving because some people thought that the game was over. Yeah, and I admit this. I went to my colleague Bob Brookover and I was like, so when they hit the field goal, I'm like, all right, this game's over. Not for the Eagles. I thought the Cardinals would win because they couldn't stop anybody. Like once they set up for
Yeah,
3, that was it. But overall, it went from okay, it's a party. It's going. You saw some people like already maybe drinking some other stuff and some other stuff
yeah,
down there and thing, but it was a party around like the beginning third quarter, and all of a sudden just hit them like, what's going on? They were
yeah,
booed. They were booed off. They were booing them rest from like ever since when they for like the last 30 seconds, everything was like a boo, and then when the game was over, they walked off. It was just it was
wow,
boo city. So it felt like that was the most depressing New Year's Eve party I've ever seen. It was bad. And I think deservedly so because that was a game that should have been won no matter what. I don't care if it's the Cardinals or the best. I've seen that thing that they're the best 3-win team I've ever seen. Like make that make sense. The best 3-win team. All right, whatever. But yeah, that was a game they should have won, and
wow.
deservedly they reserved the reaction they got.
Yeah, so even with the run the ball chance, Darius Slay came out and made a comment about it, how loud it is listening to it when you like, especially like he's on the sideline, so he's not playing. So he says, well, on the sideline listening to the chants, like he says like 10 times louder. He says it's really loud. So man, I can only imagine Do you think that changed the team's game plan? Like they have to start running the ball, or do you think that kind of made the team start running the ball those chants?
I think he just gave a couple of guys looks over. I think the offensive linemen give him a couple of looks over to the sideline. Like, and I think there's something like the one thing I was advocating for the longest times was putting them in pistol because I think there's something there where, especially we have a running back running downhill, these offensive linemen being aggressive. If you keep going back in the pass coverage over and over and over again, it takes their teeth away from
Yeah,
them. They're always in a reactionary mode. When you get this team running down, this team is really good. When you start running downhill, you can't stop them. They get that energy about them, like, all right, try to stop us. And then
yeah,
when you're in the
yeah,
shotgun all the time, it just takes away some of the effectiveness. So I think
yeah,
I'll tell you this, that run the ball chance, it's a lot louder because the press box is it's a little mute like this. It's not soundproof, but the way the
yeah,
windows set up, it's like mute. So we don't hear it like so when you're out in the crowd, it's like a lot louder when it isn't. When it was that
yeah.
loud that we were like,
It's
whoa,
crazy.
it's bad. It's loud. It was loud, man. But yeah,
So I
it
mean,
is
hey, if
ridiculous.
if the Eagles go on a road, I can see us still in a game, right? Because if you look at it, we still have the players, and in the playoffs they say everything, all other stuff don't matter. Everybody's 0-0. So you throw all of that out of the way, you throw all of that out of the window, and everybody has a fresh slate. And it's all about who's going to figure out how to win a ball game by any means. So I think when you get into the playoffs, now you want to have momentum going into the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I think, hey, you only need to win. You only need to beat this team once, however you can, and just move on. Do whatever you got to do to win. Don't and go from there. But the playoffs, do you think guys need momentum going into the playoffs? Do you think us not having the momentum and being 1-4 in December, so we're going into December 1-4? Um, do you think that has an effect on the overall morale, chemistry, or just momentum that a team has going into the playoffs?
My personal view, I think momentum is important because I think you
Yeah,
just get in that flow, you get that right taste in your mouth. But actually,
yeah,
I was talking to AJ Brown a couple weeks ago before radio silence, and he says like, yeah, he actually agrees. Like he actually disagrees. His momentum is just created. Like there's no such thing
yeah.
as momentum. It's no such as pressure. It's about you being
So
able to just to make a play within when you're within that moment in that
yeah,
vacuum of a game. So
yeah,
yeah, some players believe that way. Personally, listen, I play semi pro ball. I didn't play NFL ball or anything else like that for, so I'm not in like, oh yeah, I know. Oh, pressure is this and this is that. You get right. I don't know that, but some of those guys really truly believe him, Devontae, and everything else believe like when it comes to momentum and anything else. Nah, dude, we don't care about that. So we just want to go out there and make a play. We know we can make a
yeah,
play. We don't care if it's
yeah,
like if you're down 3 or up 10, whatever. And oh no, they scored. Nah, just do what you got to do and execute. That's the way you should do it. And do it consistently, which is something that this
yeah,
team hasn't done on both sides of the ball. So just consistently be good.
yeah. I got one couple more questions. All right, Jonathan Gannon. Do you feel as though Jonathan Gannon is a better coach than Nick Sirianni? And also give both of those guys a grade for against the last game. Give them a
Well,
grade.
that's all right, I'll start with the grades first, and then I'll get into that. I got a story. Nah. All right. First off, I say if I had to give a grade, I'm giving C- for Sirianni because I think offensively they did do some good stuff. But the problem was it was at the wrong time when you really needed the offense to do that. And the defense, which is let's see, C- might be too generous, maybe a D plus. I'm going back and forth as we talk. I'm going back and forth between those things. And when it comes to Gannon, I like he knew what he was doing. I give Gannon a B plus because he knew the weak points of this defense. He knows what Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick do well and what they don't do well. He knows about that middle of the defense, where it's the strength, where it's arguably the strength of the defense right now. So why run your running back consistently in the middle? Go toward the run those stretch plays where you have guys who are lighter, not who are lighter compared to everything else. You got a linebacker and defensive end and just one cut and go. That's what James Conner did, especially that left side to sweat a side of sweat. That's what he did. He just went to the left hand. I think he got like, I want to say it was like 75 of his like 120 or 80 something of his 120 yards, whatever, were to that left side, running that
Wow.
outside the tackle. So yeah, that was the one. But when it comes to the coaching part, talking to some of the guys, Gannon, he had a lot of their respect early on. Like it was a lot of stuff. He was related to them very well. It was one of the things like they're still filling him out. He was filling them out. It was one of those things. Toward the end, it was a lot of the embellishment of some of those stories that we've heard. A lot of stuff that, yeah, it was. I think he's got a way to go. It's almost like in a way, it's almost like the Spider-Man meme where Gannon can point to Nick and Nick can point to Gannon because they're similar in that aspect of that they know how to coach their guys right before they know how to tell those stories. You know how to tell them like get them motivated and everything else. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the X's and O's, I look at that, I still think Sirianni has an edge because looking at those practices. I mean, I know it was training camp, and I know it was else. Offense got the best of the defense a lot.
Yeah.
And Gannon was trying to learn more of that Vangio scheme. That's why Vangio had to come. And even though they say he was going looking for the offense, he slipped a couple of things in defensively that we can do too. So it wasn't all. Gannon had the best of them by far on Sunday, but overall, long term, if I'm looking to build my franchise, if it was a draft, if I had to do a supplemental draft or what do they call it, expansion draft, and take only the coaches from last year's thing, I'm going
Yeah.
Steichen before I go Gannon by far.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Steichen. Steichen. I mean, would you prefer Shane Steichen over Nick Sirianni as the head coach?
Nah, I still take Nick. I know I'm going to get killed for that, but I still
What?
take Nick. I'll get killed for that. I'll take the heat for that, but I still take Nick. I know I like personally, I like Shane a lot. Like I wish Shane showed the side that he showed it like we had the offer records because he was Shane. Shane's got more OG sass than I do. I'll put it that way. There's a story I wish he would tell, but he's got more OG sass than I do. But he does. But it involves Vegas. I'll leave it at that. But nah, it's he played because he played at UNLV and somebody visited him. So I'm like, you
Yeah.
survived that. Okay, cool. But nah, Shane does a lot of good things. I think he's going to be a really good coach. If he wins this game against D'Amico Ryans, I think he should be coach of the year. I think he earned that, especially with having used. If anybody can use Gardner Minshew and get to the
Right.
fact they can almost say with that roster,
Yeah.
he's good. He fit the offense around him, so he tailed that offense around Gardner, which I like.
Yeah, but you're picking Nick Sirianni over Shane.
Over time, because
I think
also
that's
look,
a hot take right now, bro.
well, I mean, look at that
That's a
schedule that he's look at the Colts schedule versus the Eagles schedule. That's why I'm like,
yeah.
if you give Shane that gauntlet, like take away, you can just in a vacuum take Shane to go in against those teams beginning after the bye week, beginning with the Chiefs and ending right now.
Yeah.
Colts will at least the Eagles have one win. I don't think the Colts win any of those.
Went from the Chiefs on down.
Yep, from Chiefs since the bye week. Yep, yeah, I don't see the Colts beating Chiefs. I don't. Yeah. I think they're finished 0.
Yeah, it would have been tough for them.
Yeah,
Sure.
they just need pieces. The AR-15.
I don't even think they beat Dallas, honestly.
Yeah,
Because before the Chiefs game, they got Dallas here. I don't think they beat Dallas. I think Dallas may sweep them.
But yeah, they were up there. They got that one. They were home. It was the one. You had a home win that one too. I thought that was getting a little bit closer than it should have been too. But
Yeah. This was yeah. So this one, Dallas would be at home. So Dallas undefeated at home. So they lose.
Nobody's beating them
on the road. They'll be able to get Dallas probably on the road. So they probably beat Dallas. The Colts will beat Dallas.
I'm sorry, I just saw one of the comments. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I just saw one of the comments just made me die. Like the only flowers we getting is beautiful. I'm like, yo, vicious, man.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
I saw one of the comments. Man, that was vicious. Wow. Sorry, I just veered over whoa, oh my gosh. That was fun. I shouldn't be laughing, but about the flowers or Brian.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I see. Wait.
Yo.
The only flowers Nick is getting is man.
I keep myself in a vacuum usually on this one. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like that now.
But
it's kind of funny though.
That's how it feels that way right now, man.
I can tell. Oh my god,
why, like, bro, this is my fifth like video about this, right? I've been talking about this a month ago, right? I gave you like my theory, but I had like video evidence, and yeah, I really broke it down like crazy, bro. And I've been sticking with that theory, and now the heat is really on this guy, and now I kind of feel bad because I like Nick Sirianni. I don't want him fired personally. I just think the players are. I think the players are kind of giving up on him, but it's still a shot if they win a playoff game. I
Winning
think
cures
he's
everything. Winning
I think
cures
he's
everything.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
he can't lose to the Giants, and he can't lose in the first round. Two, two of those first two,
I
he'll
think
be
we
there
lose.
calls early on.
I think we lose against the Giants.
Nah,
I
it's going
don't.
to force
And
him to
it's
run the
just so
ball.
it's tough. I mean, you look at the last what 5 games. I mean, they're 1-4, so it's hard to. Yeah,
I know everybody says, "Hey, run the ball, run the ball." I think they'll be forced to, but I saw a
yeah.
forecast calling for like 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So it's if it doesn't change and they got to use that, they're going to be forced to run the ball. You don't want the ball fluttering all
That's
around and
all they
everything.
really
So
need to do, right? Just
yep, and it plays right into
run the
them.
ball, run the ball. Keep running the ball.
Yep. So that's
I
why I
mean,
think
I
it's
think
going
it's
to play
that
in their
simple.
hands.
I mean, but you pay Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown so much money. I mean, you kind of want to get right. You kind of want to get your money's worth in that aspect. If you're looking at it from you know, from the owner. So I think there's that as far as AJ Brown, the guys with the big bucks. I mean, you got to use them. You spend an X amount of dollars on them. So I think some of it is that because Swift should have at least 1,400 rushing yards. I
Swift
think
will lead the league.
about that total yards 1,400. He got 1,000 now. I will have liked to see him go for about maybe 600 rushing yards, 600 passing yards. I think he's that type of a player. What? How do you feel about DeAndre Swift? I think he's like that. He make a 2 yard gain look like a 7 yard gain, bro.
The there was a when it came to the 2 weeks, like if you take away, I forget what games, I was drawing blank, but there was 2 weeks where he only had 19 touches total between combined those 2 weeks, and you add that to the opening game against the Patriots. You think if he does his normal output, he's probably two or three in the rushing title, like, and he's
Yep.
hands down. I
Yep.
think he's in the conversation. He wouldn't win it because McCaffrey's just and Tyreek Hill are just down the line, but he would have at least been in the conversation to be a finalist for offensive player of the year because we all know with quarterbacks get the MVP. So it was like, yeah, they would have got that. But yeah, nah, it's seeing that, like seeing that DeAndre. I wish they used him a lot more, especially on the if they run him to the left side. It is so tough to stop him because when you look
Yeah.
at where a bulk of his yards come from, is running to the left behind Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson. So you if you have those guys running out there into space, creating a one seam somewhere, getting at least getting some second hole, second level, you got DeAndre Swift going one thing and he shifts out and bounces out somewhere else. You can get 5, 6, 7 more on top of that. And I think that's I wish they used him a lot more this year. I mean, I know they're worried about they don't want to put too much wear and tear on them just in case but now's the time. You got to the point now where at least 2 more weeks. Just empty the tank and use him. You got it. I want to see just a little bit less
I
thing
mean,
on. Put more.
he's been healthy, right? You know, he knows when to get down, when to lower his shoulder, when to go out of bounds. So I mean, yeah, I think you got to use him, man. I think you got to use him. I wish they're more creative, like give him like a Christian McCaffrey kind of a role. I think that opens up the offense so much more, and that's what I was hoping when they brought him in. But they haven't used him. They haven't even unlocked his true potential or used him correctly.
He's he's
But he has 1,000 yards. If you look at Miles Sanders, I believe Miles Sanders last year had about what 12 or 1,300.
yeah around there.
I'm not too sure, but I know he had well over 1,000. Um, I was thinking Swift would kind of eclipse that.
Get it if you get
Yeah, I
Hurts
think it's a
under
tragedy.
center or
I think it's a tragedy.
yeah,
Even if you
it's
look at Kenneth Gainwell, he's been okay. But I think we need I think we need another running back. Everybody also talks about what's the kid Rashad
Rashad Penny. Yeah, who trust
yeah, they talk
he
about
hasn't
him
been
a
used a
lot.
lot.
What's going on with Rashad Penny? Do you know?
it's just the usage. It's just getting the ball. It's just getting the ball because usually you don't want to. You can't usually dress. Normally, you don't typically dress four running backs
Yeah,
consistently, especially with the wide receivers and the needs at other positions and everything else. So Boston Scott kick returner, and he runs north south just like that. Kenneth Gainwell's there, Naeem Hines, so they want him like that. And then you have Swift. So then you look at the one thing I didn't understand was I like Albert O a lot as a as a player and what he could in person is what he could bring there. But to initially make the trade, so you have four tight ends instead of basically, and some games you dressed four. I think it was a game or two where they had dressed four tight ends instead of having Penny. At least see what you can do with there. Like if you need like a yard, short yard, you don't want to go brother shove. It's a guy you can look at. When you go just overall, if you just need want to give Swift a break and you want to use game or use two back sets, have Swift and Penny next to each other. And we've seen that cross motion that they have, the speed, they call it the speed one, but maybe call it power ever. Have him cross one way, have him cross the other way, and just put some confusion to the linebackers and safeties when it comes to their keys. Stuff like that, packages like that, I would love to see, but for some reason, Penny's not that high on their priority list in doing that. And the fact that he didn't get a touch when he was active, he's active. He's actually active for a game. He didn't get any touches. So yeah, I wish I had an answer for the reason why I signed him and why they just basically put him on the shelf. But it's crazy.
yeah. There was one game where I think it was against the Vikings. He was called for a holding and then negated a touchdown from AJ Brown. It was like a 40 yard touchdown. After that, I haven't seen him after that. I don't know if he was in a doghouse because of that. I doubt it. But it was just ironic to me that after that initial play, I haven't seen this guy. Right, and it would be nice to have a rotation of. It would be nice to have a third running back, and you can just run the ball on these guys, and that'll open up the play action. But I mean, they're always in the shotgun formation, so it's only so much you can really do out of this formation. So
Remember
teams
Family
are gonna
Matters?
teams are gonna know what you're doing after watching, like after a year, an entire season of watching you do it. You know,
Yeah.
they don't they
Remember
don't
Family
have
Matters?
anything outside. I mean, they don't have. I see them. I count every time I see them in like a single back formation, or it's rare that I would be running a ball in different all kind of formations, and I would be using my offensive line and my running backs. And
Well,
I mean,
I
because
saw this.
it starts with the run that opens up everything else. That's everybody knows that. So, and we have the players to do so. Just run the ball, right? Just keep running the ball.
And I saw this. I think it's the site NFELO. They track first down formations on top of that. And the Eagles are second in the league. It may change. I didn't look at it for this week. I remember the Eagles were second in the league, maybe first now. And I went to when first and having running out of the shotgun. 77% of the time, their first down snaps was out of the shotgun. And that's a variation. That's pistol or just having the bag next to them. It's just a straight shotgun. It's like sometimes you guys got to vary it up. And you saw, and what was it against the Giants? You saw what happened when they went under center and they ran that pistol. Look, they were really getting yards and they were gaining yards. Granted, it's the Giants, but still, it added that physical element to it. So it's ah,
Any anything outside of the shotgun tends to look pretty good and work. So I mean, I know they can. I mean, your playbook cannot be that dense, right? I know you guys have to have some more stuff in your playbook to run. Um, yeah, it's pretty bad. I like him out of the single back formation because now he's taking. You see Jalen Hurts taking 7 step drops. So I like the fact that he's actually using his feet, and when he creates that much space with the 7 step drop, he has the ability now to step into his throws because he created more space with the deeper drop back. And you could just do so much from all type of different formations. I would love to see any formation besides the shotgun. It's pretty stale, but it's kind of unique because with this offense, it's like they have a run and a pass built in together, and it's a lot of options that you can do. It's really complicated. It looks complicated as heck. Watch it. I'm like, wait, so you got a screen? You got a wide receiver screen over here, then you got a fucking inside draw option, and you can just a play action off of that. It's like it looks kind of, they get a lot of slack for their some of their offensive woes at times, but I think this type of stuff may take more time to actually complete, and they can maybe install different things. But it looks pretty cool. I heard you touched on like some of the things they do offensively earlier. Yeah, I just have to make sure I piggyback on that because as me watching it, I don't understand. It would be extremely difficult to be able to process three different things in a play so I can run the ball, I could pass it, I got a screen over here. It's like, do you feel like it's too much? Do you feel like they need to like simplify some of this stuff for them?
No, I think it's a big cat and mouse game because they'll show you one thing pre-snap, and basically you count the numbers in the box. You're like, all right, cool. If I got more guys to block, then I got that one too. And you count Jalen. If I got 6 on 5, all right, cool. Then you start seeing the draws, or you start seeing what or keep you.
Yeah, yeah,
Then if you go like the thing I really wanted to see the evolution as offense goes is when you got teams going cover zero and they're blitzing from all angles, and you need to get a route that helps Jalen out, especially over the middle where you got that vacated spots right behind there. He pops something
yeah,
right there. That's like 10 yards right there. Get the speed in there. But a lot of times it's
yeah,
like just reading that, reading the edge, reading the technique of the tackle is about the offensive line being on the same page, and then also watching the receivers, making sure they know the coverage that they're seeing and they see everything else going on. It's synchronized a lot. So it's not.
yeah,
I mean, I've seen Doug Peterson's playbook from 2018. That thing, I'm sitting there like, the heck is? No wonder why some of these guys, like the new wide receivers, coming in like, oh, I get
yeah,
it's complicated, but
yeah,
you need receivers to go there too. But and I think these receivers, if they even these receivers are Doug's playbook, I think they still have the same type of stuff that they're going on right now. But I digress. But yes, a lot of things is just like it's not complicated in the sort of that one too. There's variations off of that. It's a matter of just making plays, makes plays and execute. Because I remember Nick saying in his introductory press conference, they wanted to make things simplified so you let your players play naturally and use their athletic abilities. Well, I think it's this offense is not simplified. It's getting predictable in a way. It's not simple, but it's pretty predictable.
yeah, yeah.
And when you have one side of the ball that's not as athletic or not doing what they should do, especially the front defensive front not doing one thing and the back seven is doing something else and they're not
Yeah,
playing well to their strengths. So I think that's too. So it all goes scheme again. It's all cyclical. It's all going around.
yeah, for sure. All right, bro. Last question I have for you, and I'm gonna let you go. Um, do you see the Philadelphia Eagles making a deep playoff run this year?
The only way, the only shot. I don't think so. Like ball fan, I think divisional rounds the max way go. The only shot they have is they need Commanders' help. And even then, even if they got the 2 seed, I'm still looking at a team like the Packers. I wouldn't want to see right now because you look at the way Aaron Jones is running. The biggest issue that they present running to the outside. We saw what James Conner just did, running to the outside. That one too. Like I look at that and that has me like, even if it's the first round, like, yeah. Then you'd have Detroit coming in here, and we see how they run the ball. I just imagine Jameer Gibbs against these linebackers, like not so
Yeah,
much linebackers, just overall that tackling everything. It's like, yeah. But then you got Jared Goff when he cool. Their best path is to be the 2 seed because then you probably pay Packers. You hope you beat them at home. Then you have to hope Jared Goff becomes that way. There's too many hopes in there. He's like you hope and you wish and you think to change too much and it's not like that. And then at least by that way, if you're a 2 seed, you don't have to see the 49ers until the NFC Championship game, and then you got to hope that so much hope. You got to hope the Cowboys go 35. They beat them. I don't see that
yeah.
happening either. So yeah, I think the divisional rounds is about as far as they go. That's what like I think that's as far as they
All
go.
right,
And
but all right, what if
yeah,
they manage to get the 2 seed? Because they can still get the 2 seed if Dallas lose and we win. All right, and let's say we get the 2 seed. Do your expectations change, or is well? Because I mean, you brought up a scenario if they were the 2 seed, they won't have to see the 49ers until the championship game. So that looked like the best bet for me, honestly. If you
it,
know,
see, part of me think I keep fluctuating back between the Lions and the Eagles, and right now the Lions are just playing better, and that's why I'm like that Lions run game is physical. But then you look at the Lions defense, you just like you could throw on them. You could really throw on that Lions defense. And as of right now, if you had a gun in my head right now, for I say they would lose to the Lions home. Yeah, they would lose to the Lions at home. even with Jared Goff there, I'm just like, right
So so
now
they
his
so they
team is
this
bad.
year they don't even get to NFC Championship.
Nah, that right now, unless something changes where in that first game in the playoffs, all of a sudden they start switching on. Oh yeah, this is
Yeah,
where we play. Almost like the NBA. Oh, it's playoffs. All right, cool. All right, let's go. I was like, where the heck that
yeah,
come from? All right, cool. Short of that right now, I think the divisional round right now is where the road ends.
yeah. That sounds accurate. There's a lot of people saying that the Philadelphia Eagles aren't even going to win a playoff game. I don't know about that. I think they have the chance to maybe possibly win a playoff game, but division round that's probably the ceiling for this season. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're both wrong. I hope everybody's
Same.
wrong. I hope that. I mean, we still can win a Super Bowl, right?
Man, I had visions of a Vegas Super Bowl. I thought like, wow, this would be nice. This would be here in Vegas that long, doing this, doing this. Then all of a sudden, like winning streak, I'm like, I'm gonna be sitting home. All right, I'm gonna be sitting home watching everybody score like what everybody else is going. Like this has changed all of a sudden because even with the like, and I said I wrote this before the season started. I said the winner of that the regular season San Francisco Eagles matchup was going to go to the Super Bowl just because of home field because
Yeah,
both the teams were
yeah,
going to have one too. And we saw what the 49ers did. I was like, all right, that's where it's at. Like, yeah, this is not
yeah.
happening.
So look, I'll say this. Hey, Chris, if these guys get to the NFC Championship somehow, we're gonna have to do this again, bro. If they make it this far, if they make it there, right?
This time, I'm gonna see. I might have a fake crow, like a fake. I don't know. It might be like some Cornish hen, but I'll just say it's crow, and I'm eating all that while we're doing this thing because it's like, how did they get here? Like, what? But yeah, it's I just knew before, like when they were 10-1, like, all right, I just knew they were going to the NFC Championship. I know it was, I just knew they were going to the Super Bowl. But
Yeah.
this thing, whew, it's rough.
And man, let everybody know where they can find you.
Sure. I'm on Twitter/X, Threads, Blue Sky. If you go to see Franklin News, you can find that. If you want to read my works on nj.com/Eagles, you'll find myself, Bob Brookover, and Caden Steele, where I'll do the coverage right there for the Eagles. And yeah, it was good talking to you. It was good talking to everybody out there, and we look
For
forward to
sure.
seeing you guys out there in the future.
All right, man. Have a good one, bro. All
All right, you too. I'll see you everybody later.
right. So you guys heard it there first. Okay. Uh Chris, he's all in on Nick Sirianni still. Uh, he's all in on Nick Sirianni. He would take Shane he would take Nick Sirianni over Shane Steichen. Um, so it's a very, very interesting conversation for sure. A very good conversation. Make sure you guys go check his workout. Follow him on Twitter. He does excellent work with the Philadelphia Eagles, covering the team and following the team. I get a lot of information. I get a lot of I get a lot of feedback from his work. So great dude. Check him out. Check his Twitter, some of his articles. Um, really knowledgeable guy. Seriously, really knowledgeable guy. But yeah, Nick Sirianni, he may not be getting the can. He's not Nick Sirianni may not get the can. He may not get fired this season, but he's on the hot seat. So he'll have to get his coaches right. Okay, you got to go get you an offensive coordinator and figure it out with a defensive coordinator. Um, you know, and I guess we'll go there. We'll go from there with him. That seems more logical, right? Me personally, I want him out of here, man. I want him out of here. This is already part 5 of the series, so um, it's just crazy how that my day ones, the guys who were in here you know when I first brought it up last month, right? And you see where it started with a theory, and now everybody wants him gone. Yo, this is. But again, this was a part. It was a part of my theory. Make sure you guys go check out Fire Nick Sirianni Part 2. You'll get an in-depth you'll get a whole theory of why I feel like he should be fired, man. But it's crazy that it's gotten to this point. Um, there's a high probability that he retains his job. Okay, but he's officially on the hot seat. He's officially on the hot seat, rightfully so. Right, this accelerated fast. So this for sure may probably be the last Fire Nick Sirianni series. It was great to have someone else knowledgeable about the team, an insider, to kind of you know have a discussion with, so I can kind of bounce my theory off, and see if anybody else can how they'll feel about the Nick Sirianni, right? But yeah, I did a poll. Okay, look, I did a poll. All right, now I'll tell you something about my polls on YouTube. Okay, when I did a poll on Sean Desai if he should be fired, right, or no, what head coach should be fired. The next day after the poll, Sean Desai was pretty much demoted. Okay, but this gives you kind of a feel of how the fan base feels. Okay, I did a poll. Should the Eagles fire Nick Sirianni? Almost 30,000 people voted. It's close. All right, 52 people are saying yes. 48 are saying no. So hey, it's I promise you, this is really close. Okay, if we lose a playoff game, Nick Sirianni, I mean, bro, I don't know what else to. I think he's gone, man. I think personally he's gone. All right, but if we retain him, you better get your coaching staff corrected because man, they look kind of suspect, including you. But yeah, you see 29,000 people voted on this poll. All right. So it's not like this gives you a fair amount of analytics to go off with 29,000 people voting. All right. This gives you a fair feel of the how the Philadelphia Eagles fans and everybody else feels about Nick Sirianni, man. 29,000 people chimed in. All right. And half of the people, a little over half of the people say fire Nick Sirianni. Okay. Are they trying to keep him under 1K so when they don't re-sign him, there is less backlash? No, it ain't that. You just gotta as long as he get 1,000 yards, he's fine. So everybody hitting their numbers. Everybody hit their numbers. It's all about hitting your numbers, right? Devontae Smith need about 1,000 receiving yards. AJ Brown needed more. He need about 13, 14, 1,500, right? 100 catches, stuff like that. DeAndre Swift, the real running back, has to have 1,000 yards. So I mean, it all the numbers look right with everybody. Swift could have more yards. I think Swift is probably the best player, the second best player on the offense. I said what I said. DeAndre Swift is the second best player on the offense. Top man, let me see. Because okay, you got to get a. Yeah, man, I think he's probably one. He's probably. I would say he's the best player out there as far as the skill positions. He's the best one. I'll say that again. I'll say that again. I'll say that again. DeAndre Swift is the best skill position player on the field. he should have at least 13, 1,400 yards as well. It's just how they use him. I would, go put. I would have him all. I would have him in motion all the time. I would just have him all over the place, running around. Bro, they don't know how to use DeAndre Swift. That's criminal. That's criminal. That's not a good look. Too bad we don't call halfback runs. Yeah, man. We're gonna look at some film too, right? So, look. DeAndre Swift's having an amazing game, and DeAndre and AJ Brown was on the sideline, like crying, bro. So, I mean, a lot of that is that, man. You look. You gonna have to get AJ Brown his, okay? And if somebody else coming in that can possibly take away from my numbers, yes, I'm gonna feel some type of way. I'm not alpha. This is my team. I'm gonna make all the plays. So, right, you got to kind of find that common ground to where like you appease. You got to appease AJ Brown. It is what it is, right? So uh I think there's about maybe 600, 700 yards of offense that that at the end when it's all said and done, I think it's about maybe 600, 700 yards of production that they left that they left out there on the field that they wasn't able to capitalize on, right? Because there's a lot of missed opportunities. But from what I've seen about 500, 600 yards worth of production that these guys could have had. Someone else could have had. The offense could have produced a little bit more. But it's a chemistry thing. You got to figure out like the players, what they like to do. And I think a lot of times this type of stuff takes time with the offense. Uh, but yeah, you got to figure out if DeAndre Swift shouldn't be denied if he's really the type of talent he is. Okay, he's a better skill player than I would say Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith. Like, dude is special. I don't think we understand. I don't think we understand how special he is. That's why you hear run the ball chance. But we're gonna get into some film. We're gonna get into some film too. We're gonna definitely get into some film. But this is kind of staggering right now. Nick Sirianni. Eagles donated $1 million to Rashad Penny. We run a Big Ten offense. I mean, I don't know. I kind of think they do some things good, but I think they need more formations, bro. They just need more formations. 3 ways to solve this issue: have more players under center, versus RPO, and yeah, you got to mix it in. Press defense, not 5 yards off, blitz more. Yeah, you can blitz more, but look, some of these guys aren't good at blitzing, so yeah, man, the defense they're not good at blitzing. Sirianni kept Barnett in the doghouse, so I would expect Penny has been in there for some reason. Yo, Trey, bro, that is a jam. That's a nugget right there, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a great point, bro. That's a great point. In fact, let me see. Damn, I'm gonna start giving mods back out too. I have to take all the mods away because somebody came in here like banning everybody. So I have to take all the mods away. But I'm gonna give you a mod for sure. I'm gonna give everybody their mods back. But Barnett was in a doghouse for a long time, right? So, damn, Rashad Penny. Some players they do get in the and they get stuck in the doghouse. So you got to figure out a way how to get up out of that. But Rashad Penny, he's just here for the ride, just like Nick Sirianni in my estimation. The playbook is a pamphlet and eliminate the bubble screens. Look, let's look at some. I want to look at some. I want to look at a little bit of film on these guys, man. Thoughts on the chances of drafting the undrafted, unheralded, underrated kid from Notre Dame? I don't know anything about him, honestly. But I don't know. I can't say because I don't know anything about him, bro. To be honest with you. I'm the only wrench guy. Sorry, snooze, you lose. I don't think anybody has a wrench. Brian Johnson needs to be shipped to Cancun with Nick. uh, how about Kelsey? I mean, Kelsey, he's one of the best offensive linemen. Uh, I mean, if you're talking about, I'm talking about skill positions. Skill position is like the guys who, everybody else but the lineman, right? And some tight ends are skill positions. So it's just guys that, the quarterback, running back, receiver, and some tight ends are like skill position. Uh, Jason Kelsey wouldn't necessarily be labeled a skill position player. He's a lineman. This is what you call quarterback, some running back, some receivers, and some tight ends, right? You just say it's the skill position. They gotta go. The longer this continues, the longer we're gonna be. Hey, bro, look again. Everybody who watches my show, you guys know I was saying this is what I've been talking about. This like from again, I broke the news. Now again, this is all speculation for sure, but this is what I believe 100%. Like his locker room's over with. The locker room's over with, and everybody's starting to feel the same way. All you got to do is when they do the rush, the touch push, fake it and go to the left and got her shit. Yeah, man, they did that. They actually do like other things off of it. Let's see if we can find some real quick. This killed me. This play right here, bro. This is 3rd and 2. Why would you? I mean, like, what's going on here on 3rd and 2? Look at this. Just look at the still frame. I don't understand what the heck is going on right here. It's 3rd and 2. It's 3rd and 2. There's nothing open. Okay, so you throw a check down and get nothing. This was just bad. This was bad right here. Uh, but yeah, you look at how they just ran the ball on us. The play action is what kills this team the most. The play action, you look at the play action. Look at this. Look at all of them. They're running, trying to fit. Look, they're all going for the run. Now you got two people wide open. Everybody's looking for the run. Like this is crazy right now off of play action. Look at this. No, bro, you're wrong. I have him open. I have him open. Like I have two people open just off these dudes just over pursuing. Look at them. Look at all these guys. The whole middle of the field is open because they all thinking it's a run. And then it's too late. I'm talking about the play action is this defense is big as Achilles heel. The play action kills them badly. Okay, you see Shaq Leonard with a great stop, a great tackle here. He's gonna give you some of those. Couple tackles for a loss. You look at this Arizona game. The Arizona Cardinals, the defense held them to 6 points at half and scored a touchdown as well. So I feel like they did enough. The offense has to finish teams off like this. You can't rely on our defense. The defense getting a touchdown was amazing. And holding a team to 6 points, what more do you want this defense to do? That was enough. They did enough. Blankenship form. Look at this one right here. Oh man, yeah, you spoke too soon about Reed Blankenship form, brother. Look at him right here. Bad angle. Okay, but he squares up. But he didn't attack like he attacked with his arms. He's like they like to reach. That makes the tackling form bad, right? You don't tackle with your arms, right? You don't try to lunge and grab people. You gotta square up, which he did. He just didn't put his shoulder pads on anybody. Right? Look at Kevin Byard. Look at Kevin Byard. They not getting off blocks. Look at James Bradbury. This team is like they soft, honestly. At least Blankenship is trying, right? At least he's trying. And who was this? Yo, it just gets worse the more I watch this. Okay, who is this right here? He's just finna whiff. You see this guy right here? He's just finna completely whiff. Like, come on, bro. That probably was Morrow. That was Brandon Graham. BG, bogus as fuck for that. Bro, you just missed like that. Look, he just whiffed. That is wild. That's wild, BG. Look, you can't bring him down because you just grabbing him, Blankenship. And like nobody want to help. They don't even want to help. They see Blankenship fighting with this dude. And look at them. Look at them. They don't want no smoke, bro. Look, they don't want no smoke for real. They don't really want no smoke, bro. At least Blankenship gonna get in there. Look, they don't want no smoke. Look, he watching. Look at him watch. He watching. He spectating. He ain't trying to get in nothing. He spectating. Look at Byard. Look, they spectating, bro. They scared. They scared. They scared, bro. They scared. They scared. I'm sorry. And this is my last thing I gotta say, right? Look at this onside kick. Look, mind you, the score is 28 to 28. 28-28. It's 5 minutes left. Why an onside kick? Everyone's thinking, right? So we recovered the onside kick. Look at this nigga right here. Do you know you just got duped? Stupid. Why are you celebrating, Michael Clay? Why are you This is not. You're celebrating, not even knowing Jonathan Gannon just pulled a fast one on you. You're celebrating. Oh, we recovered the onside kick. No, he did that, right, to cut the field in half so you guys can't use the entire field to waste and run the clock down. He knew you were gonna try, you knew you were gonna do it with 5 minutes left. Let's just run the clock out. Nope, I'm an onside kick. You guys can get it, inside our territory. So you either gonna have to kick a field goal or score a touchdown. He knew that the Philadelphia Eagles weren't gonna be able to score a touchdown. Held him to 3 and gave his team time to go win the game. And they went and scored a touchdown. But see, in hindsight, you don't know that, right? But I mean, this dude is smiling. He thinking something, bro. What you just got bamboozled by Jonathan Gannon. You're being outcoached. You're being outcoached at this point, but you're celebrating that you recovered the onside kick, not even knowing he's already a step ahead of you. Why everybody's a step ahead of these coaches? This dude's celebrating. Bro, do you know what's happening? No. Don't even know what Jonathan Gannon is doing. But you're celebrating. We received, we recovered the onside kick. Bro, you don't even know what's going on. You don't even know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Square up, put them shoulder pads on them, wrap up. Onside kick was fire. Bro, he did. That was one of the best coaching strategies I've seen this year. I'm not gonna lie to you. He had everybody confused when he did that. He had everybody confused. This man is celebrating, not even knowing what he just really did to y'all. That's crazy. That's so soft, bro. I hate that. The onside kick was a gift that should have been a touchdown. But look, no. See, he believed that they were not going to be able to score a touchdown. He believed they would not be able to score a touchdown, so he cut the field in half. And now you only have a certain amount of time to kick your field goal, and you're going to get a ball right back to us. So he had already had this played out. Like, all right, I'm going to kick this onside kick. They're going to recover. Then they're going to kick a field goal. We're not going to allow them to score a touchdown on us. We're going to kick a field. They're going to kick a field goal. They're going to give the ball back to us with enough time for me to have Kyler Murray go win the game. Jonathan Gannon really exposed just how bad of a head coach Nick Sirianni is with this game and that performance. He stole a game, right? You got to get credit to Gannon. I'm sorry. Brian Johnson and Hurts and the team are tanking to get Sirianni fired. Yep. In a nutshell, that's my theory. That's my theory, bro. Go read. Hey, go watch Fire Nick Sirianni the set part 2. That's my theory. That's my theory, bro. That's my theory, dog. In a nutshell. You're definitely right about onside kick. Yeah, that's why they did it. Why wouldn't he be celebrating the coach's special team? Why wouldn't exactly? I just explained it. Of course, he's celebrating it, right? But he doesn't know what Jonathan Gannon has in store for them, right? He don't know that was the entire part of the strategy that essentially lost them the game. See, it's deep. Seriously, that's great coaching. You thinking we did something good, which we did. We recovered the onside kick, but it was all part of Jonathan Gannon's grand scheme. It was all part of it. Hey, that's my theory, man. I think he lost the locker room, so I don't really know. That's just my theory, man. That's initially why I created this series, and a month later, you see everybody saying fire Jonathan, fire Nick Sirianni. So, especially after Jonathan Gannon embarrassment. Food for thought, Paul. They certainly haven't. They certainly have the passion and drive. I don't know if Hurts like Sirianni. I don't. I know it's friction between the players and the coaches. The locker room's over, man. Locker room's done, in my opinion. But I like the pushback, because I like other different ways of you know looking at things. But yeah, you got the onside kick and you lost. You lost the game, man. You lost the game, bro. Okay, you lost the game. So I mean, when you when you have when you have shit like this, they're calling a screen that got Devontae Smith hurt. Okay, at some point we got to stop running the screens. We got to stop running the screens. Right? Play call is horrible. Play call is horrible. If you watch the Super Bowl, Hurts kind of told Nick Sirianni to settle down. He did. He did. I mean, let's talk about Nick Sirianni, okay? Let's really dive into Nick Sirianni. Okay, let's really dive into the Nick Sirianni thing. Where did they find Nick Sirianni? His leap to the NFL came in 2009 after getting an interview through a friend with new Chiefs head coach Todd Haley. Listen to how he got his head coaching job. He gotten to know Haley from attending the same YMCA. Sirianni was in college. He became friends with Todd Haley, and he got a coaching job just from knowing somebody, just from meeting. Like, come on, that's so wild to me. That Nick Sirianni, that's how he was discovered. He, uh, Todd Haley met him at the YMCA. You weaseled your way into like the NFL or something, my boy. Where's your credentials? That's my whole thing. Where's his credentials? Okay. He just is somebody like, oh man, it's like a random guy you meet at the YMCA and you guys talk and you get to know each other and find out, oh, okay. So how did that even happen for you to just become a quarterback coach for the Chiefs after meeting a guy at the YMCA, meeting the Chiefs head coach at the YMCA? And you somehow got a job in the NFL. What happened there? Right? What happened there? Then you look, at with the Colts. Frank Reich, he was the offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator for the Colts. but he didn't call the plays. Sirianni develop a close relationship with Wright, though. Unlike some head coach, Wright chose to call the team's plays rather than delegate the responsibility to Sirianni. So when you were the offensive coordinator with the Colts, you weren't calling the plays then. So what would make the Philadelphia Eagles feel like he is the guy to be the head coach for the franchise? Okay, he was with Philip Rivers and um, Andrew Luck, but he wasn't the reason that they were having success. So this was a bad hiring. This was a bad hire. Let's call it what it is. This was a bad hire. I'm sorry. This was a bad hire. This was a bad hire. I hate this. I hate to say that. This was just a bad hire. Okay. And I'm guessing they seen that he was the offensive coordinator with the Colts when they were top 10 in offense or whatever. But you gotta understand, Nick Sirianni was not calling the plays. It was Frank Wright. So what was he doing as the offensive coordinator if you're not calling the plays? That's wild. Why do you have a how are you the offensive coordinator and not calling the plays? Okay. The Philadelphia Eagles seeing that he was under Frank Reich, he was the offensive coordinator for the Colts. So he was with Andrew Luck. He's been with guys like Philip Rivers. You know, I just don't see this was never a good sign, a good hiring, honestly. In my opinion, it never was a good hiring. Okay. Bro, he was discovered at the YMCA. Nick Sirianni was discovered at the YMCA in college. He met Todd Haley, who was the head coach of the Chiefs. And somehow you got a head coach. I mean, you got a quarterback coaching job. Well, I mean, what have you done in the NFL? I mean, you're a quarterback coach for the Chargers under Mike McCoy. Mind you, these coaches, I mean, they were terrible. They weren't good when Nick Sirianni was with them. The Colts had some success with the Colts. Okay, but again, you're not calling plays, so the success is because of Frank Reich and not you. So the Philadelphia Eagles signed Nick Sirianni to fix Carson Wentz. We don't have Carson Wentz on our team anymore. So why do we need him? They hired him to fix a Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz isn't here anymore. But for real, Howie has the ego. Everybody has an ego. He outcoached Saban in a game at Michigan about to win. None of that matters. We fired a Super Bowl winning coach that called Philly, and if they just want to lose the season, didn't care to retain players and coaches who said this is what our front office wanted. I mean, then you look at it, they fired. This is what they do to their. This is how it is with head coaches, man. I mean, it's with the Philadelphia Eagles. You can look at Doug Peterson. He won us our first Super Bowl, and he got the can. Like, we fired him. So, and he was a hell of a much better head coach than Nick Sirianni. He's a cruiser. He played in the NFL. He's a quarterback in the NFL. He's a quarterback coach. And I believe he was an offensive coordinator. He called plays before. But man, if you're gonna be a offensive minded guy, you have to be calling plays. The fact that he's not calling plays and just I think he's a fraud. I think he was always a fraud. You even look at the guy who gave him his first opportunity. Let's look at his record. The guy, Todd Haley. You look at this guy, Todd Haley. Okay. His record in the NFL is 189 and 100, and he's barely over 500. Right, he's 40. He won 42% of his games in the playoffs. I mean, I don't want to look at his overall career. I just want to look at what he did when he hired. What was his record when he hired Nick Sirianni as the quarterback coach? And this was again. This was the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. The 3 seasons that Todd Haley and Nick Sirianni. The 3 seasons Todd Haley was with the Chiefs. He only had one winning season. Then he was fired. He went 10-6, and I think it was one and done in the playoffs. He was one and done in the playoffs when he got there. You know, his first season 4-12, 10-6, 5-8. So I mean, the guys that he's been under, outside of maybe Frank Wright, he's had no real success. And even the guys who you know who he coached, who you know his coaching tree, the guys who he come under, like they weren't even good, right? He's from a coaching tree of I guess Todd Haley and Mike McCoy. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even think he's from a Frank Reich. He's a dude. Is a he? I don't even. He's not even. I can't even see. I can't even say he's from a Frank Reich tree. He was there with the coach as the offensive coordinator, but again, Frank Reich was the one calling the play. So what were you doing there? He got hired because of the job Frank Reich did. Okay, and they thought he was some quarterback guru, and he's not. I think he's a fraud. I do think he's a fraud. Think he's a fraud. Think he's a fraud. This is my fifth installment of this Fire Nick Sirianni thing. So I mean, you know, it's a monster of its own now. But that was my entire theory as to why I wanted him fired. Um, man, stuff about him losing the locker room, bro. This is viral right now. This is viral. This is viral. And again, this could be all speculation, but the fact that this has grown, like this is, it's a life of its own now. He's getting asked, he's getting asked questions about losing the locker room, and I mean, it's so many videos about fire Nick Sirianni. I'm kind of shocked, man, that you know I pioneered that, and it's not. I would never want someone to get fired because of what I'm saying, right? I don't want to be I don't want to be the fuel to any type of someone losing their job, right? But at the same time, it doesn't. There's a disconnect there with the players and the coach, and I think Nick Sirianni's just a fraud. I think he's just a fraud. So I had to I had to make these series, but it's like it spread so fast, dog. I didn't expect for him to be being asked questions about losing the locker room, bro. Like that's crazy. And again, the people who've been here, they know, like I kind of, and if there's some validity in it, which I think it is, I could say 100% that I broke the story about him losing the locker room. All right, that came right from here first, and it's a lot. It has a life of its own. But hey, I just want to spread awareness to it. But man, I don't know how he has to win a game. He has to win a playoff game. He has to. Okay. He has to. Let me ask you guys something, right? Okay. Would you really like? I mean, would you? How would you look at a guy like this, man? I mean, if you hear him saying, if you hear like something like his behavior, I think the players. I think the players have like even like you see here, he's saying this is he's saying, hey, Chiefs fans. He's like trash talking to Chiefs fans, right? it's little stuff that I think teams are personally starting to not, I think they're not. I think they don't. I think they don't like some of his behavior, man. I think that's when he lost the locker room. You see this with this is with this is against the Colts. He saying that shit was for Frank Reich. What was for Frank Reich? The win? Like, bro, you doing too much, bro. You look kind of goofy. I'm gonna be honest. I think this type of behavior is why the team was just like, yeah, we done with him, bro. I think this is what did it for him. Like his behavior. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like it. I'm cool with it. But as the players, I think this is when you start to lose your locker room. Right. When you see a lot of different, right here he is against the Chiefs. I don't hear that shit no more, Chiefs fans. Like, bro, what is you right? Why? Why? Somebody said Eagles suck, Ravens winning the Super Bowl. Hey, bro, I almost banned you, bro. I got my bad. I almost banned you, bro. Chill out, man. For always to get them confused, we need to step it up before we play the playoffs. Yeah, man, we need to see they tanking. Whoa, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, until you fire him, bro, they're done with this type of shit, bro. I think they're done with a lot of his behavior. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think they done with him, man. Like he yeah, he's looking fraudulent. He's looking fraudulent as hell. That's wild. That's wild. How he chose the roster, how he drafts the players, how he calls them first, gives a phone call. Sirianni is a yes man. Of course, we know he's a yes man, but you gotta eliminate the yes man. You got to get rid of those guys. I don't want a yes man on our team. We know when they hire guys like this, we cannot be on board with it. Okay. When they try to hire a yes man, no, we're not. No, we don't like that. No, we don't want. No, we had to put our foot down. This Nick Sirianni dude. Like, I just think he's a fraud, man. He got fraudulent just written all over him. Like, I can't not. And again, this was something from all the way back when. This was from like a month ago, right after this Dallas game. No, this is right after this Dallas game here when we didn't score a touchdown. Like, yeah, something's wrong. Right. And that's when I discovered he's lost the locker room. Now you look a month later, he's getting asked questions about it. And you see guys like AJ Brown clearly frustrated and upset. This was dating back to last year. Um, so yeah, man. And when you see stuff like this, it's a telltale sign of your locker room being lost. Okay. Okay. Everybody thought this was just like arguments and different, this type of stuff happens. No, it doesn't. Okay. No, it doesn't. And I'll tell you, when I was this is what I was extremely alarmed about this team after the Minnesota game. Okay. Tampa, okay, it was still some stuff going on. But the Rams game, there was another outburst. Then we lose to the Jets, and fire Brian Johnson after the Jets lost. Fire Brian Johnson after the Jets lost. This is when I wanted Brian Johnson gone. Okay. So when you get to the Jets game, okay, yeah, the offense was terrible. Brian Johnson needs to be fired. He was terrible in the red zone this whole entire season leading up to the Jets game. And it's like, yeah, Brian Johnson's done. Okay. Then we beat Miami, we beat Washington, then we beat Dallas, Kansas City, and Buffalo. Right. I say after the Kansas City win, I kind of there was a little I kind of relaxed a bit. I had so many concerns, but we were winning. And then the San Francisco game happened. And I think that's when it starts to unravel. You got players coming out, saying that the offense is pretty much trash. I'm paraphrasing, right? And then you look at the Dallas game when they didn't score. I'm like, oh yeah, the locker room's done. Locker room's done. They're tanking. Then you look at Seattle, 17-20. Oh yeah, it's going. Yup, this is what's happening. Starting off 10-1, the locker room's over. Right. I knew we were gonna lose some more games. I knew we were gonna keep losing, right? Because I figured the more we lose, the faster you can get the quarter, you can get the head coach fired, right? Because it and it's happening, and this is where we are. Okay, this is where we are with this. It's crazy, man. I never would have thought. I would never have liked to see it get to this. I would like for us to have been able to figure it out after the Dallas loss, beat Seattle, beat the Giants, beat Arizona. Okay, and we would have definitely had the division wrapped up. We'd have been able to probably chill this Giants game, but it's all unraveling. You you know we have to do. We gotta get the head coach up out of here, man. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I like him I like his energy, but as a coach, he's not it. He's not it, man. Look, they just so miserable. You got miserable players, man. Miserable. Everybody's miserable dealing with this little moment in the season. It has to surpass. This has to surpass. Eagles suck, bro. Okay, I read that. Just because I read it again accidentally, I'm gonna ban you. Send them, yeah, send them to the loser line. And you don't know that. If you remember the game Sirianni called plays, yeah, that was the Jets game and the Washington game. Yeah, he was calling plays for sure the Jets and Washington game. Losing at home, and it was one of the worst games that year. Yeah, it was the Jets game. It was the Jets game. He's fucking trying to call plays, man. Oh man. Somebody said stop yapping. All right, send him to the loser lounge. Ban him for life. Get out of here. Sirianni or Chip? I would probably go Chip. I would go Chip. At least Chip wasn't playing with. At least Chip was with Chip. He would get you out of there. I think Chip Kelly shouldn't have been a general manager. If he wasn't the general manager, maybe he have a better stint here. They shouldn't have made him the general manager, and he was just he thought it was still college. If Chip Kelly was here, AJ Brown would definitely be on another team right now. Okay, look, Chip Kelly wasn't playing with nobody. He like, all right, whatever. I would get your ass up out of here. But even you had a Riley Cooper that same year that had said a racial slur at the game at a concert, and he was still on the team. So I mean, I don't know. It was just all wacky with him. But he if he wasn't a GM, maybe he had more success. If you're not on record for not liking him, bashing him now is yeah. If you're not on record for not liking him, bashing him now is I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Because I think at some point, like you got to get the ball rolling, right? And me personally, bro, I've been going through this with this team the whole year, right? Again, after the Dallas game, I'm on record wanting him gone. Okay. And again, this series, the whole Fire Nick Sirianni series, man, like, and everything is was wild. I just really hope. I really want the best for the team, so I hope this is really just all just being blown out of proportion. But I don't see it. I don't see it that way, man. I just want what's best for the team, and it hurts to even. I want to be trash talking about how good our team is. I can't do that right now. But yeah, I mean, I think as long as I think we just need to get the ball rolling to get him out of here. So if everybody's hopping on a bandwagon now, so be it. Honestly, both destroy a talent roster because, well, we don't know. Nick Sirianni didn't really destroy the roster yet because he's not the general manager. He don't got that much power. He's like a yes man for sure, but they're gonna have to figure it out soon. Or yeah, we can then that's what we can talk about if this happens. If they rehire him, if he isn't fired, yeah, they're wasting talent. They're wasting years now because it's a lost cause. Fire Sirianni now. He's the current version of man. He's the only scheme he's made up and up is how he's going to BS the public. Man, I think he bamboozled his way into the entire NFL. Honestly, he met a head coach at the YMCA and somehow got a quarterback position, a quarterback coach. He became a quarterback coach. He got a quarterback coaching job just from meeting somebody at the YMCA. Like, it's weird. And you look at him with the Colts, he wasn't calling the plays there. Man, I think he just ride people coattails. Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen, he rode their coattails. All right, he rode their coattails. Now you don't have them. He's being exposed. Y'all really complaining about AJ. AJ was mad in our playoff game of 30 points. Go lucky disrespect Sirianni, but then yeah, bro. I've talked about this back, and when was this? Uh I got a whole series on AJ Brown as well. So yeah, they all got their work. They already got the work. Okay. After let me see. Week 3, I think week 3, yeah, I had one of him traded. So, yeah. He was like too much of a distraction. And ever since then, it's been getting worse. So, yeah, I've already I've been on point with my I've done my due diligence with this team. It's not Nick, it's the coordinators, but he hired the coordinators. He hired the coordinators. It started the head coach. You got to blame the head coach. I would have wanted to beat the Jets. Yeah, man, that Jets loss looks horrible now. It looks so bad, and that's what's so crazy, man. I always think about that Jets loss. Out of all our losses, that Jets loss was probably the worst loss. Okay, now we would have been what 11-0 going into the San Francisco game, and we'd have had so much. It just man, right now we'll probably be able to rest our starters right now because they need a week of rest. They look horrible. They look extremely tired. But yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. But this is part 5 of the Fire Nick Sirianni. We did some film breakdown, looked at the film, and Chris Franklin coming on earlier in the show was amazing, right? So that's the stream, guys. That's the stream. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. It's been 2 hours. That's your stream. Like always, God bless those Philadelphia Eagles.